Well, I laugh every day. So there's something that happens every day in this field that will either make you laugh or make you cry. So and cry in a good way too. My name is Lena Reilly, and I'm the Senior Manager of Operations for Community Living Ajax, Pickering and Whitby. I've been in this particular position for 2 years now, but I've worked in the field for over 30 years. And for this agency particularly for, coming up on 29 years, or for 29 years now. So what I particularly enjoy about my job is, there's so much to enjoy about it. In the job that I have, I get to oversee the agency. So I have a hand in practically every program or location that we run. I work with a lot of the staff and the managers. So being hands-on in every aspect of the agency is really, really great to see. So you get to see the growth in the agency, the growth of the employees we have, and the individuals we support. It's just wonderful to see every day. Well, I laugh every day. So there's something that happens every day in this field that will either make you laugh or make you cry. So and cry in a good way too. So to think of one specific example is really hard for me because, like I said, every day is different, and there's so many fun things that happen every day. I mean, I could think of one specific story. We had a gentleman, unfortunately, who's no longer with us, but he was really excited about Halloween. Was always his favorite, season, if you want to call it that. And he had a thing for clowns, so he usually dressed up as a clown. He had the great costume. He would come in and he would be so excited. In fact, he would wear the costume well before Halloween, so it was always something that was really exciting for him. But there's so many different things that each person brings that is fun, makes your day fun, makes every experience great. So it's really hard to pick just one. There's a lot that motivates me to come into work every day. When I'm talking specifically about the people we support, just watching them thrive, meeting their goals, getting to do things that they maybe thought they never would have been able to do. For example, we've had some people go on some major trips that they thought they'd never be able to do in their life, and they've been able to do that, with the support of our staff. But also too, working with the staff that we have, watching them grow, watching them get involved, learning more about the agency itself, but then the field itself too. Things are always changing. The way we support people is always changing. So, keeping up on that is important as well. So, but watching everybody, thrive in that environment is something that motivates me for sure. I always wanted to work with people. A people person. I would not be happy just sitting with a computer, but although that's what I do a lot of the time, but it's not the only thing. So, being surrounded by great people is, excellent for me. And some of the people that still work for this agency, have been thankful to see how it's grown over the years, the mentorship that they've received, not only from me, but from the rest of the team as well, and even their coworkers. So a lot of people have, been able to make the job their own. And I think that's what's important is taking a job and looking for the positive things in it and pushing yourself forward. You're the only one who's responsible for your own, what's the word I'm looking for? Successes in life. So, go out there and do it, and it's great to see when people do that. And in this agency, not just this agency, but in this field, there's a lot of frontline support. That's what our agency thrives on. We need those staff that are right in the trenches with people and supporting people. It's not a lot of growth professionally as far as, moving up the ladder. There are some opportunities, but for our agency, we're smaller, so it takes time. And people like to work for our agency, so they stay for a long time. We have a lot of staff who are well over 20 years service in our agency. And every year we do presentations to those who've met milestones like the 10, 20, 30. We have people that are up to 40 years that have worked for this agency. It just goes back to the people again. That's what makes you stay. So working not only with strong teams, but the people that you support. We have people that generally come in their early 20s, 30s, and they stay for the rest of their lives. So we support them throughout their life. So we develop strong relationships, and we love them just like we would love our families. So, that's what motivates people to stay. That's what keeps them here. In this field, what it takes to be successful, some of the non-negotiable traits that people need to have, definitely patience, 100%. If you're not a patient person, this is not the field for you. Things can change. You have to be flexible. Things can change on a dime, and you have to be ready and be able to go with the flow, per se. Being compassionate, empathetic, dependable. Those are the non-negotiables for sure. Everything else we can teach. Everything else people can learn, but you either have it, and the it is that personal connection, that personal drive to want to be there for the people that you're supporting. The leadership team, most of us have come from being frontline staff ourselves. So, it's just part of it. I think the leadership team has to recognize that as well, and have those traits as well, in order to foster that as well in the staff that we support as well. To be successful in this field, a hiring manager really needs to focus on those behavioral traits that, potential employees might have. So changing those interview questions to be more behavioral based. What would you do in this situation? How have you reacted to certain things in the past? And getting away from the number of years that someone's worked in a profession or the experience that they might have. So I mentioned having the it factor. Having the it factor goes a long way. So a person can walk in the door with no experience, but have those traits to be able to support people in a positive, supportive manner, and they can learn all of the details of the nitty-gritty parts of the job. So I think that's what major things that a hiring manager needs to focus on more, is making sure that you're getting someone with those personality traits that are going to fit the job, more important than just the experience and the education that they have too. Things have really changed over the years of how we do our hiring and even the people that we have coming through the door. So I would say even 10 years ago, we used to have a lot of people applying all the time. All our shifts were always filled. We never had any issues. One of our big factors for bringing people in the door was having a developmental services diploma, or at least the equivalent of that. And if the person didn't have that, we didn't look at them anymore. The job market has changed a lot. So over the past several years, not even just the pandemic, but the pandemic really set it off, we're not getting the people through the door that have that education. So we're looking more at a broader spectrum of people, different types of experiences, and they may not necessarily have experience in our field, but they've got that it factor. So they're a people person, they're compassionate, good listener, very observant, good observing skills. So that is more what we're going for now. Things have changed, so we don't look so much at the education and experience. It's still important. If someone walks in with a DSW, awesome. They've already got that, and we don't have to do the extra training. But having that is a lot smaller of importance than being the personality or having the personality that will succeed in the field. Don't look at the way we used to do things. Our hiring practices have changed. So, and I mentioned before that a lot of us have been in the field for several years, over 20 years or so. So we get stuck in our ways on how we do things. So I think it's important to make sure that you're looking at the trends, who we're getting in as applicants, and the skills that they do bring and the skills that they have. Focus more on that, and pay attention to the changes in the job market and how people are applying to positions, what they're even looking for in certain positions. A lot of people just want part-time. and they have several different jobs. So, we also have to look at that as well. We're getting candidates now with a very different background. So, several years ago, people would only apply with developmental service worker diplomas or human services diplomas. We're getting people now with PSWs, so that's, not as much education, but they're still in the human services field. We're getting people from justice, policing, child and youth workers. So there's a lot of different backgrounds that people are coming from now. And they learn really good skills in those programs as well that can be transferred into the developmental services. So we have to look at what those programs bring as well, and what people are learning there and the skills they're developing. Some people have it and some people don't. And those that don't usually stay in the field very long because it's not for them. And they'll quickly see that in order to have long-standing employment here and be happy, you have to have those traits. You have to be patient. You have to be compassionate and caring. Have good listening and observing skills. Really important. When you help someone and you see them happy and doing things that they've always wanted to do, it does make you happy. It is a symbiotic relationship, if you want to call it that. And what better job can a person have that makes them happy and, just as much as you're making the other people happy and, meeting their needs. The people we support definitely have traits that they're looking for too in the people that are supporting them. They want somebody who's going to listen to them, who's going to answer their questions, be patient with them. And we have had in the past where people haven't been able to develop the rapport with their support staff. And we either move the support staff to another location, perhaps it's just a personality clash, and that happens, we're all human, not everybody gets along. And sometimes the employee just wasn't the right person for the job, and so they don't stay. But definitely, we have to listen to the people that we support to meet their needs and expectations, and because they're going into their homes. Most of our staff are working in the homes where our people live. We do have some day programs as well, but the majority of the staff are working in accommodation supports. So that's their home. So we want to assimilate to the individuals' homes as opposed to making them change to fit the employees. The individuals we support, a lot of them will definitely let you know when they're not happy with someone who's supporting them. Some are very verbal about it, and they'll just come right out and say, this person does this and I don't like it, or they didn't help me with this and it didn't make me happy, or they don't understand them, or they're not, just not clicking. Other people who may not have those verbal skills, that's where the observation skills come in. So the staff who have worked with them for a long time, they can tell by the way the interaction is going that the person isn't jiving with that new staff person. So it's really important for us as managers, as well as the long-term staff, to keep track of that and to watch those interactions and make sure that we don't keep them in a situation that they're unhappy in. So we always are striving to make sure that the employees are matching the locations that they're going to and really developing those connections with the people they support in a positive manner. So again, it goes back to making sure that we're listening to the people we support. And it does take a lot of observation skills, because in a lot of ways, the people we support want to make us happy too. And they'll tell us that they're fine with something when they really aren't. So, but you can tell by watching them. Someone who's known them for a long time, or has already developed that rapport with them, can tell whether they're happy or not really, or if they're uncomfortable with something. So we rely on our long-term staff and the people who have those that rapport already, to help us as managers to make sure that we're putting in the right people The industry is undergoing great change. Right now, the Community Living Ontario is focusing on the journey to belonging. And what that is a focus more on the individual support, so what actually a person wants for themselves, not trying to fit into a group type of scenario. So we have a lot of congregated care settings. Some are group homes, some are day programs. And the thought to journey to belonging is doing things that are more individual. So having them go have their own place to live with their own staff of their choosing. It's a little different. It's not just a little different, it's a lot different. And it is going to be challenging for us to adapt to it. We are already making some steps towards it. We do have a lot of individualized supports and a lot of supports that we gear specifically towards people. And we do that as much as we possibly can. Even for those who are living in our accommodation supports in congregate settings, we provide a lot of one-on-one already so that they're getting to do things that they want to do on their own and not feel like they have to just do what the rest of the group is doing. So that's the big focus that's happening right now. We also have to keep in mind, though, that there are still a lot of people who are happy with those congregate care settings. So that's what they like. They like being with their friends, being with people who have the same interests as them, just like we all do. So we have to have that happy medium. We have to be able to support, basically give everybody what they want. Do they want to be part of a group in certain situations and then have that independent support at others? That's our focus. So, and we're working towards that. We're all individuals, so we all have different ideas of how we want our life to be. So some individuals that we support will be very happy with the journey to belonging and taking it on 100%. And I think most people are very happy with journey to belonging. It's a great mandate. And there's some people who are happy the way things are. And we still have to provide them with the opportunity to see how things could be different. So, you know how we all get stuck into just going day by day. This is what I do every day. If you don't know anything different, you don't know what's better or what's different or what you want to choose. So we have to make sure that we give those options to people and we let them choose the supports that they want. One piece of advice I would give to hiring managers: focus on the person's personality, how they're going to fit in with people that they support. Make sure that they have those skills, the patience, the empathy. Not worry too much about the actual book smarts about that. That's something we could teach. Focus on getting the right people in there who are there for the right reasons, who want to help people, who are there to listen to people and support them the best that they possibly can. So what I would share with fellow healthcare professionals and people who are working in this field is to make sure that we're really listening to the people that we're supporting. We don't want to just put everybody in a box because that method of support is what's deemed popular at the time. We want to make sure that we're listening to them, that we're doing those group activities when they want to, that we're doing that individual support when they need it, and so that everybody's getting what they need and everybody is getting what they want. So let's not just focus on one thing and think that's the only thing. We need to look at it as a whole and be a little bit more broad in the way that we look at how we can support people and be flexible in offering those supports to people. Our daily lives get so busy that we do forget to look at the big picture sometimes. And we also get used to doing things year after year. It's been working for us, so we think, well, that's just the way it's going to be, but we have to make sure that we're open-minded and that we're always looking at different things and offering people choices so that they have that knowledge of what's out there and what can they access so that they're not just stuck in the little box either. So the things that are really important to us when we're looking at a staffing partner is making sure that they understand what our needs are and that they'll be working with a variety of different people with different likes and needs, and making sure that the people are flexible and understanding and have that it factor again. Being compassionate, patient, understanding, listening well, good observational skills. Those are the things that are important to us. So the agency that we're working with needs to make sure that they follow those requirements that we have. And understanding how our employment is. So we always strive to have our own staff work. That's the goal, right? Every agency wants to bring in their own people and have them all work. But that reality in this day and age isn't that anymore. Yeah. We just don't have enough people to fill the needs that we have. So we rely on those outside staffing agencies to help us when we're in those crunches. And it benefits everyone in the long run. So there are mixed feelings in bringing outside staffing agencies in. And a lot of it is because people that are coming from the agencies, they're not our regular staff. So they may not have received the exact training that the regular staff have received. And they're not there as often as our regular staff are. So they may not know all the routines of the locations. And some of our regular staff are unhappy with that. But at the same time, we can't always have our regular staff doing all the shifts. It will burn them out. They'll get burned out. They need time off. They need, they need a break sometimes too. And we can't keep ordering them into work. We can't have all this extra overtime that people really don't want to do. So we need that help. We need to take that pressure off, and the outside agencies help us with that. Our staff are just as important as the people we support. If we don't keep our staff happy, we're not going to keep the people that we support happy. So it's really important that we focus on them and make them a priority as well. If an agency is not focusing on their employees' needs, you're in for trouble. It's so important to keep your employees happy. They won't stay. People leave jobs not because of the job, they leave the job because of their manager isn't supporting them. That's why people leave their jobs. So we have to focus on the people that we have in our agency, keep everybody happy, listen to them, do the best we can to support them so that they can do the best that they can to support the people we support. Retention is a challenge that we're having right now. So while on one hand we have those 20, 30-year employees, a lot of the younger people coming in are more transitional. And I think that's maybe a generational thing. It could also be just the way the job market is. People are always moving around and looking at other things. And people are not always dedicated right from the get-go. And then we get some people who are in and then they love it here and they don't leave, just like the 30 and 30-year people like myself who won't get out. So that's what we're always looking for. But at the same time, as an agency, we need to make sure that we understand that that's going to happen, that we're going to have that fluctuation in the job market, and that we're going to have people that aren't going to stay long. And we do put in a lot of time and energy into training them and getting them onboarded. And be prepared. We have to be prepared that they're not always going to stay. And that's why we need the backup plan with our agency staff supports. My experience working with Agile has been the best so far. We have worked with other staffing agencies and we no longer have those relationships. From the day I met Ann Rose, I knew that Agile was going to be the agency we were going to go with. Right from the beginning, she understood what our needs were. She was willing to make that extra search for the people that we need in our area. We have one of our locations is really not, it's very rural. It's not close to town like the rest of them. And she's been able to find people that are up in that area that are able to work that we haven't been able to do ourselves. It's been a really positive relationship. Anne listens to me when I call her and I say, this is what I need. And then she'll call and ask me a question. Is there something that we could do here? And we work together really well. So the experience with Agile has been top notch. One of the areas that Agile really understands what our needs are is knowing that in a lot of cases, the staff support we need is going to be last minute. A lot of the other agencies that we're working with had a hard time meeting those needs. So it might be we call them and say, our staff person at 10 o'clock and it's now 10:30. Didn't show. Can you get somebody here? And a lot of agencies can't do that. So Agile has been able to do it. So that's been a positive thing. The other thing is just understanding that it ebbs and flows with us as well. So every agency wants their own employees to do the work. But there always comes a time when things aren't great. But when things are good, Agile understands they're not going to get maybe as many calls as they normally had been, but they'll know that maybe in a week or two, that need is going to spark again. And they're understanding about that. And the people that they've been sending us, they generally send us the same people. So they've been able to develop rapport with the people that they've been working with, the coworkers as well as the people they're supporting. So it's been very positive in that manner. So it can be very stressful when the regular staff are not on shift and there's somebody new comes in. The individuals that they're being supported sometimes are surprised to see the different person in. The good thing about Agile though is they try to send us the same people so that the individuals do have the opportunity to develop that rapport with them. So yes, there are challenges, of course, when you're having someone that doesn't work with us on a regular basis coming in, but the benefits outweigh that, for sure. If we didn't use an outside staffing agency, the staff that we have right now would be burned out. We would be ordering them into work and stay, and nobody wants to order someone in and make them stay at their job. We all know that we're working with people. It's not like we can close a box and lock the door and go home. We have to have somebody there 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. But at the same time, we all have our personal lives and we all want to, be able to go home at the end of the day. And sometimes people don't want to work those extra hours. And when they can't, we have at least the option to go with Agile. And the staff that they've been sending us have been great. Every staffing provider needs to look at the same things we look at when we're employing employees. The patience, those soft skills that we need to have. Making sure that the people that they're bringing in are people, and that they want to be there, and that this is something that they're going to thrive in an area that they're going to thrive in. Again, I've said before, we can teach the skills, but we need the people with the it factor to come in the door. And if they can get those people too, bonus for everybody. Any agency that doesn't put the people first is not going to thrive, 100%. And when we have a staff come in from an employment agency like Agile, our expectations are that they're going to be there to support the people. We're not expecting them to write programs and, create new support plans. That's not the focus. We just want to make sure people are safe, happy, healthy. That's the goal. The reason why we were looking for different staffing agency supports when I was researching and found Agile was because the other agencies we were working with either didn't have the people with the skills that we required or the soft skills that we required, or they just didn't have people available. So we would call and they would say they didn't have anybody at that time. So what's the point of having an external staffing agency to help you when they don't have anybody that's going to be able to help you anyway? So when I contacted Agile, the very first person I spoke to was Anne. And I knew right from the start that it was going to be a good relationship. Even to this day, we've been working together for a while now. And if I have any issues or questions or need to ask her for some help for something, she's always there to answer my call. And likewise, she'll call me and we'll, banter back and forth what's going to work, what training can we provide this person. We're working together to provide the best support that we can. But having that personal connection with Anne and having that relationship It's different than the schedulers calling their scheduler and asking for someone. Our schedulers have a good rapport with Agile schedulers, and they work really well together. Anne and I are the ones that oversee everything. Anne and I have a really great relationship, and I think that is really important. It's important to me. Other agencies, I didn't have that connection. I would get a different person, or people would leave companies and then you didn't know who you were going to be talking to. I know I'm going to talk to Anne every time, and I know I'm going to get a good laugh when I talk to her too. So yes, it's been a really positive relationship. For me, laughs are really important because I can't stop laughing. Maybe it annoys people, I don't know. But yeah, to me, well, you need to be happy. You're the one who creates your own happiness in life. If you can't laugh about silly, goofy things, then what's the point of living? Special talents? I don't know if I really have special talents. I like to paint. I guess for the people who do stick figures, I'm talented. So that would be one of my talents. To me, it's a stress reliever. I can just sit there and just my mind goes, and I'm just thinking about the colors and the strokes that I'm putting on the canvas. So one piece of advice I would give to my younger self, and it's not just to benefit my work life, but to benefit my whole being. Don't take yourself so seriously. Have fun. Look for the humor in things. Don't be so serious. Don't let things get you down. If you sit back, most things will work themselves out. It may not be 100% perfect, but you're gonna get where you need to go. So don't stress too much about the little things. Really just, have fun in life, laugh at things, laugh at yourself. I think that's the most important thing in life. And everything else will just fall in place.